Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Happy afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. It is 12 Eastern, and we're about an hour away from NFL kickoff on this beautiful Sunday morning. We're going to run through all of the needs at the WestGate SuperBook with Chase Michaelson. We're going to look behind the counter, if you will, and get those big bets from him as well. Then we've got Gianni the Greek. He's going to confirm some of the steam that we talked about on Wednesday's Bet On It show. And then Prez, you guys know him from WagerTalk today. He's going to be answering all of your NFL questions. So you guys have one job to do, and that is jump in the chat. Give us all of your questions, comments, or concerns. I think Chase Michaelson finally got his tripod working. So let's go to him first. I think he's live in John Murray's office. And Chase, I'm kind of sad because this is your last day with us.
Yeah, this will be the last one, but it will live on. I'm sure you have Art or somebody do it, so it'll be.
Yeah, great. Art's gonna stay with us on Saturdays. I think John Murray might have promised me that he was gonna hop on and fill in your spot for at least one, if not two Sundays, until we found your replacement. But congratulations on the new position with our friends over at Circa. Little kudos to you for doing a good job. Little hardworking American that Chase Michaelson is. Give us a look behind the counter for the 1 p.m. slate.
We have here's some teams we need, Kelly. We're going to need Cincinnati. Obviously, Baltimore coming off looking really good on Sunday night. That's a team that's going to be popular. So we're going to need Cincinnati plus the points. Money line would be great. We'll probably need Buffalo. Similar reasons. They look terrible on Sunday night. So everybody looking to bet Houston. So we'll probably need Buffalo there. Obviously, it's a 1-point spread, so we'll need them to win. I would say those are our two biggest decisions of the morning slate / early afternoon on the East Coast. The Patriots would be great. I don't know. That's not a game that I think.
I would like to talk about the Patriots really quick. John Murray sent me a text this morning and said a sharp group played the Dolphins. Would that be the reason why you guys need the Patriots, or is there more to it than just that bet?
Yeah, it's mostly that. It's not a game that's attracting a ton of public attention, to be perfectly honest. I think when the average person sits down to bet their NFL Sunday, they're probably not necessarily excited about Tyler Huntley, Jacoby Brissett, or Skylar Thompson, Drake May, or whatever version of this game there is. This is not your grandfather's Dolphins Patriots. So, yeah, it's the sharp money is going to overpower it in a situation like that just because you don't have the public interest, really. I'm sure there'll be parlays and stuff like that, but there's not going to be a ton of big straight bets on a game like this.
All right.
Whereas Cincinnati or Buffalo or that, there will be.
Oh, don't worry. I already wrote that down. I've been getting texts all morning. Need SuperBooks needs. Everybody is up my ass on Sunday mornings to pass along this information when all they have to do is tune into the last call and they can get it right here live with you. Let's talk the afternoon slate before we get into Sunday night football.
Yeah, we're Raider fans in this town.
That's not what I wanted to hear.
We'll need the Raiders. We took some money on a Denver at different versions of 3. We have the reduced juice, so it can kind of get a little bumpy there. But right now we're at 3 with some Raider juice, but we took some Denver money, 2.5, 3. So we'll be looking for the Raiders to do what they did last week. Raiders came through for us great. We needed the Raiders big time in the 1 o'clock slate, and they got there. So that was exciting. And we'll be looking for that again, just trying to ride the Minshew train for as long as it goes until this country turns it over to AOC.
You kill me. All right, Sunday night football. Chase, there you go. MJM0863 wants to know, do you need the Browns? This has been a really contested game this week. I did not get involved in it for obvious reasons. The Washington football Commanders look really great. Boy, do they look great. I'm actually shocked how great they look, and the Browns look completely abysmal. But the Browns have not passed the eye test for me. Regardless of what the math is saying here, I'm not taking this Cleveland team.
Yeah, I was on Arizona last week. That didn't go super well.
Yeah, that sucks.
For me, we took some sharp money at Cleveland plus 3.5. If you think about the change in perception, like this is a game where before the season started, when we do our game of the year lines for every game, we had it Cleveland 3.5, right? So that's a big jump in 4 weeks, right? And obviously it's warranted with the way Washington's playing. But, for a team to win as a dog several weeks in a row, the way Washington has, and then come back and be a home favorite, that's the kind of spot that the Sharps are going to look to bet against, just because they're always going to try to play it back and play that kind of rubber band theory that a team is always going to, come back to whatever the perception was before the season started. And obviously Cleveland was considered a team that was, a playoff contender. It hasn't gone super well yet. And obviously Washington's looked amazing, but that's always a spot where you're going to see the Sharps kind of play that back. So that's kind of the spot we're in. As far as like the need, it's just not a big need because it's not a game that the public's really interested in. We'll need the Brown just because Washington is in people's parlays, because people like to bet the favorites, obviously, in parlays. But on straight bets, we don't have enough like straight bets for it to really have a big decision there. It's just if Cleveland wins, it'll be great. It'll help knock out parlays.
All right. Sunday Night Football, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, let's go. One more question. Kenny Nichols, do you need Chicago? I believe on the Kelly and Murray show, I don't have that notebook handy. Yes, I do. John Murray told me that a group played the Bears -3.5.
Correct. Yeah. We'll need Carolina, which I think makes sense. I don't think you're going to have a lot of public money on Carolina, generally speaking. And that's obviously, people are still excited about Caleb Williams, even though it hasn't gone super well yet. And then, we had a sharp group at 3.5. So those two things combined mean that we'll definitely need Carolina.
All right, now let's move on to Sunday Night Football. I liked the Steelers, and then I saw the WestGate Super Contest breakdowns, and everybody loves the Steelers on Sunday night. Are they the sharp square side, do you think?
There's been some sharp money on Pittsburgh. Kelly, you let that stuff bother you too much. If you like a side, just bet it. Who cares what other people are betting?
I am not betting this game. I just like to ask. I like to divulge tons of information so that other people can make their own decisions. I have the Dallas Cowboys in a teaser.
Kelly. The public's smart. They know. They win just as often as they lose. It's 50-50.
I didn't say they did not. I just sometimes would prefer not to be. So let's put it this way. There's public dogs. They usually have fleas. South Carolina yesterday, that sucked really bad for me. Then there's sharp dogs. Then there's favorites that it kind of seems like it's that sneaky favorite that all of the pseudo sharps want to bet. And that's what the Steelers feel like with me this week. I have, as I mentioned, Dallas in the teasers. I lean towards the Steelers side, but I have not seen one sharp guy bet the Cowboys.
Yeah, there hasn't really been a lot of Cowboys left. We're going to need Dallas, at least for now. The one thing with Dallas is you never know, just because they're such a team that draws public interest one way or another. You never know if you're going to have a big bet on them or against them closer to post. If the game was starting now, we would definitely need Dallas. It's obviously just a fun game. Obviously, a lot of history, 3 Super Bowls between these teams. So everybody will be watching. I'm sure we'll get monster ratings for NBC. And I'm sure that we'll probably be looking for Dallas to win. But if they don't, to at least not cover the teasers. Because like you said, I'm sure that'll be a popular teaser pick as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of popular teaser picks that I am on today, including the Jets this morning. So those Vikings that everybody thought were not as good as advertised looked pretty good against Aaron Rodgers, who threw 2 interceptions, at least in the first half. All right, Sunday Night Football. This one has been really interesting. And then we'll answer Danny DeVito's sharp play of the week. But I've gotten to the point where I've kept saying I'm done betting against the Kansas City Chiefs. Yet the last 2 weeks, we've seen sharp groups come in on Kansas City. I did cash Chargers +7.5 last week, which was really nice to get that hook to go my way. Chargers looked all right. Kansas City didn't look that great, but now you have a Saints team coming to town. Kansas City has not been good, at least against the spread in these primetime games as of late. But John told me on Thursday, sharp group laid 4.5 and another one laid 5.
Yeah, we've had sharp groups at 4.5, 5, 5.5. We've had definitely some playback, just kind of the people that like to sort of play back against the market. So, I mean, it's at 5.5 because I don't think that the market will let it go any higher. But I would agree with you that the sharp side has been Kansas City. Now, I think maybe part of the thinking there is that you would think at some point they're going to play a version of their best game. Everybody knows what Kansas City is capable of. They haven't really played like it this season, which is funny. We're talking about that. They're one of 2 undefeated teams. But obviously, the public will be on Kansas City, as they essentially always are. But, we've had so much playback against the sharp groups that right now, if the game was right now, we would probably need Kansas City, but that will change because everything on Monday will be tied to them. So I'm sure we'll end up needing New Orleans, but it probably won't be as big of a decision as you would kind of expect.
That is not what I wanted to hear for my Survivor pick. I wanted to hear Chiefs 35-3 final. Come on, Chase. John Murray made me use the godforsaken Kansas City Chiefs this weekend in Survivor.
Kelly, I just said they're going to play their best spot. I don't know what.
But you said you would need the Saints. All right, give me that before I get you out of here. I know you guys.
Hold on, Kelly. Parlays, moneyline parlays, spread parlays. Are they tied to the favorite on Monday night or the dog?
Always a favorite.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You're taking things very personally.
Listen,
I feel like you're making me.
I lost Cal money line last night at 2:00 in the goddamn morning, and I'm still not over it. Like, I just laid there angry for like 2 hours. And also, there's a Category 3 hurricane coming my way, and I am here for you guys. So please jump in the comment section, give us a like. Make sure you guys are following Chase on social media so you can see his little, we'll call it risk room journey across Las Vegas, moving downtown. Chase, you're the best. Give us the biggest sharp play of the week before we let you go.
Stay safe, Kelly. I mean, it's probably Kansas City. I think that's the thing that the Sharps have agreed on the most. So that's got to make you feel better, right?
There you go. All right. Let's just survive and advance. He is Chase Michaelson, live from the WestGate SuperBook. We appreciate those guys hanging out with us each and every Sunday, giving us a look behind the counter, talking about some of those big bets and biggest needs. Now to kind of collaborate that, we've got VR, the Greek gambler. You know him from the UFC. And he gives us an opposite look behind the computer screen, behind the back end of some local shops. VR, how was your UFC last night?
I had a great night. I hit my 5%, Kelly, and I think I went like 5-2. Or I had a bad beat in the co-main event. When the fight was over, the side I had was a minus 2,100 to get the decision. Yeah, and she ended up getting a split decision loss. So that ended up costing me, but overall it was a great night. Like, did damage, but I had like a parlay that would have paid $8,500 for like $200. So kind of, you know what I mean? It's that ugly feeling that you could have made such a bigger score if the judges just would have done right by you. So it was a good night. MMA continues to do damage, probably the best year I've had that I can remember. And NFL, I'm going for my 4th straight 5% play. So hopefully we have a winning week. A lot of stuff today. A lot of two-way action you're seeing.
All right, two-way action. Let's break it down between what we saw on Wednesday and what we're seeing about 45 minutes until the 1 p.m. games kick off.
All right, let me give you 2 props real quickly that came across. Tackle and assist props. It's Arizona, San Francisco. Fred Warner under 8.5, up to about minus 125. 8.5 tackles and assists. And also Baltimore, Cincinnati game. Trenton Simpson under 5.5. Couple to about 140 there, under 5.5 tackles and assists for Trenton Simpson in Baltimore, Cincinnati, and 3 quick team totals. 2 I wasn't able to get for myself. Bears under 23 team total, Texans under 24.5 team total. The one I was able to get was the Giants under 18 team total. So those are 3 team totals that the betting syndicates have gotten down on. Now, real quickly, all the books that I spoke to, the most one-sided play. Everyone always wants to know what's the biggest risk. Without a doubt, it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks against the New York Giants. There's going to be more parlays, teasers, money line parlays tied into the Seahawks to win that game against the Giants than probably any other game other than Sunday night football and Monday night, which are usually the bailouts or the double up games. But Seattle's a huge risk for the books. And real quickly, a couple of the sharper plays. The Bears, as you know, they got hit at 3. They got hit at 3.5. Panthers are getting some public money. That's why it's sitting at about 4 right now. Moved down to the Texans and the Bills. This one's kind of flip-flop from -1 to -1 either way. Guys I work with do like the Houston side. Bet the team total under, but they do like Houston. Laid the one on them earlier today. Also, Colts at +3.5. Now, that got absolutely no respect. In fact, it went through a key number. You saw the Jaguars get bet up from 2.5, 3 to 3.5. That usually scares me to when you see a favorite go through the key number. And then when a betting syndicate takes the +3.5, you got to ask yourself, did they lay 2.5 earlier and are now taking the 3.5 and have that 3-point middle in the NFL, which you have to go after anytime it's available? That could possibly be, because I'm not seeing, though, the movement on the 3.5. I want to see Colts go to +3 to get some respect on that Colts side. Go down to the Browns against the Commanders. One-sided Washington money, but the wise guys more than help balance that out by coming in on the Browns. Two-way action. I saw Broncos get bet at -2, 2.5, and I've gotten some Raiders at +3 today from Sharps. That's one of those two-way actions. So you got Raiders at +3, you got Denver at -2 or 2.5. And finally, Monday Night Football, we talked about it, bringing it up again. Two-way sharp action here. But I personally like the Chiefs side. I think Kansas City's at least a touchdown better at home than New Orleans, who I think's power rating's just been adjusted a little bit too quickly. So that's some of the up-to-date live action going on. As far as sharp plays go, Chicago's probably the sharpest play. And Sunday night, they're lining up on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I haven't gotten the buy order, but just looking at that line movement, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a Pittsburgh Steelers buy order that should push that number. If it's 2.5 now, it'll probably get the 3.5 everywhere by kickoff, even though you should get public money the other way on Dallas to help offset it.
Yep, I got Dallas and some teasers, as I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
I just hope that game lands between 3 and 8. We'll take it. All right, VR, any quick promotion before I let you go?
Yeah, I'm over at the Steam Room. It's free right now, so you can jump on in. I pass along a bunch of stuff that I just don't use as premium. I mean, I've shared soccer stuff this morning, props, team totals. So jump on in there if you get a chance. The links at WagerTalk on their social media. And yeah, I think I'm giving $1,000 off. Ace 1000 gets you a dime off. I've been running hot of late. Got 3 months to make this the 9th winning year out of 10. I'm behind right now, but I should regress and progress towards the mean like usual. So jump on board and let's do some damage the rest of the way.
At Greek_Gambler. You guys can follow him on TikTok, Instagram, and of course, Twitter. VR is the best. Right now, he is over on the Steam Room there on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, taking all of your questions. Comes in every single Saturday and Sunday, and of course, Wednesdays on Bet On It. All right, last Sunday with the Prez, and I'm giving his ass the boot. Just joking. We love the Prez, host of WagerTalk today, every day of the WagerTalk YouTube channel, and I'm now being told that he is 3 minutes late. So even more, where are you, Prez? Where are you? We're going to take some questions from you guys. If you guys have a question for me, got a few minutes. Prez doesn't show up. I'm canceling the show early because I, have to put shutters on my house and probably get the hell out of Dodge before shit really starts to hit the fan here. If you guys have a question for me regarding the NFL slate today, drop it in the chat. If you missed Bet On It, I gave out the Denver Broncos -2.5 as my best bet. We're riding with the Denver defense today. Not Bo Nix, the Denver defense. Ralph Michaels came in with some really nice data to help back it up. I said, Ralph, it's been really tough. I've been 1-1 every single week in the NFL, and it's been really frustrating. And he said, okay, let's do a deeper dive. Which teams are you looking towards? And then we can see if we can find some extra data to back them up. So 66.2% home favorites in the division after winning back-to-back wins, playing a team off a win. So Denver Broncos -2.5 for me today. And then I also have the Bengals +2.5. And I have them teased with a lot of things, including with the New York Jets. Okay, 4 minutes late. Let's bring in the Prez. Hi, Prez.
I've never been late to a show in my life. I don't know what happened. I'm glad to see you're okay, Kelly. What a crazy freaking situation you're in Tampa Bay. So
Yeah, it was last week. My dad got hit, went up and helped him with some cleanup, and we'll see what this next week brings. I may be going to Miami, or maybe I might just be getting on an airplane and flying to Chicago, since I was supposed to be there this weekend anyway. Well, this next weekend anyway. But I digress. Time to talk some NFL. If you guys have a question for the Prez, drop it in your perspective chats, and we're gonna run down. We've got about 40 minutes until everything kicks off. We've got an Instagram question from Jay Gomez. Here is a question that has not been answered yet. Thoughts on Green Bay? This one's been really interesting, Prez. Green Bay 3-point favorite at the LA Rams. We know SoFi Stadium has 0 home field advantage. That place is going to be packed with cheeseheads.
yeah, Kelly, I like Green Bay here, and just for the record, I'm not looking to take road chalk. Road chalk on a regular basis is not a great strategy when betting. But I mean, we've got 5 O-line out for the LA Rams, including their 2 big guns on O-line. We've got 2 of their top wide receivers out. Their defense is decimated, last in the league. And I look at this team and I think the moxie that Green Bay showed last week, coming back from 26 down, I think it was 28 down, whatever it was a lot, against Minnesota. Then you hear the quotes coming out of the dressing room. Oh, sneeze. And I think Green Bay is a team to bet on moving forward. They're also bringing back 2 big-time defenders in Clark and Alexander. So I look at this game and I think to myself, okay, both teams are 2-2. Which team do I expect to be 3-2? I think Green Bay is a much better team, given the circumstances of LA just being decimated with injuries. And without an O-line, it's almost impossible to play a football. I think Matt Stafford's going to be beaten up. I hate taking road chalk here, but Green Bay -3 is where I'm going.
I would have to agree with you there, Prez. Except I do like almost playing on the opposite, right? Like last week, we had a joke in my group chat. I was like, are the Raiders dead? I haven't seen anybody play on the Raiders. Everybody's talking about the Raiders' injuries and so forth. And the Raiders ended up getting it done some way, somehow, against a very lowly Browns team. But I would agree with you here. I do think the Packers they just look like the right side. This is not a Rams team that I can trust defensively either. We know Jordan Love is going to probably be able to torch that secondary. Next question in the chat. We're going to pop them up on the screen. K Slater 23. Kelly, what's your take on 49ers Cardinals? Ooh, Prez, this one's tough. Marco D'Angelo gave out on bet on it, the Cardinals. And I thought, oh boy, would that be fun for Survivor? But guess what my best bet was last week? Oh, that's right. The Cardinals. And they got just embarrassed by the Commanders. Do you think they rebound today?
Rebound from what, Kelly? From being this perennially excellent team over the last 3-4 years? I don't like the word rebound. This is a team that's been in the dumps for 3 seasons. This is a team that's really did not come into the season with a whole lot of aspirations. I think they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Kind of shit. I think the cool kids call it mid. I don't even know if they're mid, Kelly. I'm not buying into this Arizona Cardinals team at all. Look, I'm impressed with what Kyler Murray does sometimes. And that's the problem ultimately with the Arizona Cardinals. This is a sometimes team. Can they go out and put up 30 points today? Sure. Can they put up 13? Yeah. Has Kyler Murray let us know ahead of time which direction they're going to go? No. San Fran, on the other hand, to me is one of the best teams in all of football, injuries or not. I understand CMC is out. Well, this team was able to win without him for many years in many games. They have O-line issues too. I just don't think the Arizona Cardinals have the pass rush to take advantage of their O-line issues. Trent Williams injured, might play, likely will play, but still injured nevertheless. I look at this game and I think, man, San Fran owns this team of late. This Arizona team is not very good. Now, with that said, all of that stuff is factored into the line, which is why it is -7. I would look to take San Fran in a teaser as a one of the legs. I know betting down has not worked well this year with all the incredible upsets, but that stuff changes around. I'm not one of these guys that sit there and says, oh, -7s to 0 or to -1 has been a bad bet for the last 4 weeks. Therefore, it's going to be a bad bet for the rest of time. I think Arizona, San Fran wins this game. I don't think I could get to the window with the points because of San Fran's injury, but I don't believe in this Arizona team at all. I would like to, I'm thinking San Fran team total over as well. Those are probably the two bets I would make. San Fran in a teaser and San Fran team total over.
Yeah, I would really love San Fran to lose this game for survivor purposes, of course, Prez.
I understand.
11-5 and straight up in their last 16 games. Arizona has not been anything to write home about, especially defensively. So I'm not holding my breath on this one. If you guys have a question for myself or the Prez, make sure you guys drop it in the chat. See if we can get one up on screen. Pantone 20, Fat Tone 24. Okay. Kelly, who is the dog of the week? Let's stay safe and travel safe, please. This has been a really tough one, but I like the Bengals. Early on, I'm glad that Chase collaborated that one with me. Usually on Bet On It, Prez, I give out a sizable underdog, right? So last week we had the Chargers plus 7.5. The week before we had the Rams plus 7.5. I just didn't love any big dogs this week. But the Bengals, we know exactly what we're getting from them offensively. Defensively, there is a question mark, and that is what concerns me and why I didn't make this my best bet. But this is a Ravens team that looked really, really good against the Bills. Now they're back in the division, which we know is the toughest division in the NFL. I like the Bengals here at home.
Yeah, listen, I certainly don't disagree with that pick. It's I don't know. I feel like there's another one that's on the board that tastes better to me. And it's the same line, and that is Dallas. And there is threes out there. DraftKings has -3 for Pittsburgh. I know a lot of very smart bettors who I respect deeply who like Pittsburgh here. I don't quite get it. Now, I understand that Micah is out, and I understand that Lawrence is out, and I get that the Dallas Cowboys defense has been terrible. But Kelly, a unit can't have sex. And Pittsburgh Steelers have no offense. So regardless of how bad the Dallas Cowboys defense is, they're not exactly playing against some kind of juggernaut right now. I look at this game and I think to myself, this game comes down to who carries the pace. If this is a high-scoring game, Dallas blows Pittsburgh away. If this is a low-scoring game, Pittsburgh has a chance to win outright. So ultimately, who's going to dictate the pace? And that's going to be determined early in the game. And I would tell you guys, if Dallas does go up by 2 scores, I think this game could be a blowout. Now, I understand Pittsburgh can run the ball down Dallas's throat. Running the ball is a bend, don't break kind of a thing. It puts up a lot of yardage, and it skews the game and the time of possession, but it doesn't amount to a whole ton of touchdowns. Running the ball is more of a field goal kind of a thing, and I think Dallas is going to get themselves some. What we saw last year with Pittsburgh, they allowed 6 plays of more than 15 yards or longer, and I see no reason why Dallas can't sort of take that up again. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, they do throw the ball deep. They do stretch the field. If I have to look at a dog, the biggest biter of the week, I think it's the Dallas Cowboys, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game outright.
Prez, I have a little group chat that all we talk about is gambling and, other degenerate behaviors, and that was exactly what I just read. I have not seen one Dallas Cowboy ticket. I said, I have them, except I wussed out. I have them in a teaser. So it's not exactly the same, but there hasn't been a lot of love for this Cowboys team, and I kind of get it. As you mentioned, their defense has been very porous, giving up over 26 points per game. That is not something you want to see, but you're right. I do think that if Dallas does control the pace here, and by the way, maybe if Mike McCarthy decides to run the football, as you mentioned, is controlling the time of possession, I think they absolutely can win this game.
Well, who's the better team, Kelly? I mean, forget that they're playing against each other. Forget that they're playing in Pittsburgh. Which is the better team?
I mean, I guess if I had to argue, I guess I would say the Steelers right now are a more well-rounded team, but I still think that the Cowboys have more talent.
Is it because the Steelers have beat so many good teams along the way? Is that what it is? Like they've just
No, that
laid
is
the
definitely not the
smackdown
reason
on
why.
Detroit and Kansas City. They whooped Baltimore. You know, like what has Pittsburgh done to warrant that they're a better team than the Dallas Cowboys?
Nope, I can't agree with you more. I think that there is going to be a leveling out period towards the second half of the season for this team as their schedule starts to get tougher. Yeah. So, all right, MJM0863. They want to know what your best bet is today, Prez. So give yourself a little self-promotion and tell us what you like on this beautiful Sunday.
Well, I got 6 plays for my clients up today, and obviously my best bet is inside of those plays. So what I'm going to do is give you my best bet that is not inside of those plays. Now, if you want to buy my package, head over to WagerTalk.com, grab it. It comes with analysis for every single game on the board. I mean, literally 6 pages of analysis. My best bet on the board is for sure for Minnesota to be up 20-10 against the New York Jets somewhere in the fourth quarter. So that's my best bet for sure.
Well, you don't want to know that Aaron Rodgers just threw a touchdown pass then.
My best bet still counted. It was 20-10 sometime in the fourth quarter. I haven't looked since, so I wanted to make sure I did get it right. My best bet is the Dallas Cowboys, Kelly. The Dallas I'm not in play on that game, so whatever. Let them enjoy. Let the British people get a good football game. My best bet's the Dallas Cowboys. I think they win this game outright. Honest to God, I think you can take them on the money line here. I think this Pittsburgh team is awful. I mean, not even mid, crap, like actually crap. And I think their defense, although good, is not world class by any stretch, and we saw that last week. I think Dallas is going to put up points here. Dallas would be my best bet outside of my client plays.
All right, if you guys have a question for the Prez regarding the NFL slate for today or tomorrow, John wants to know your thoughts on Seattle -7. Look, Marco gave out Giants in a sandwich spot. I think it was FS1. I was listening to my buddy Jeff also had a similar sentiment about teams after playing the Lions and how poorly they do. Scares the crap out of me. Chase Michaelson from the SuperBook just told me that's probably their biggest liability. And then VR came on and said, oh, by the way, all the locals' biggest liability is also Seattle. But guess what? Sometimes those biggest liabilities still win and cover. Prez, I keep waiting for Geno Smith to turn into a pumpkin. It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Nope, he's a good quarterback. He's for real. He's going to have a nice career. What do you do in this game, Kel? I think you go to the over. I understand a lot of people like Seattle and they can make a reason for it, and it's probably going to find its way into a bunch of tease down teasers. I look at this Seattle team and I think to myself, they got an offense that can score with anybody, and they do. They stretch the field, they run the ball well. They play well offensively in all 3 zones. So, from the running to the slot to throwing deep. This is a team that can score against anybody. Although the Giants have shown a really good defense from a pass rush perspective, I think they're weak in their secondary, and I think Seattle will be able to get theirs. Now, the New York Giants, while Seattle looked pretty horrible against Detroit last week, and I think this Seattle secondary is a disaster. I don't think the Seattle defense is good at all. I think they're a bottom 10 unit in the league. And I think the New York Giants will be able to get themselves some as well. This is a low total. Before I went to bed, it was somewhere around 42 and a half, 43. And I sit there and I say, can we see a 24-20 game? I think we can. I think both teams can get into the 20s. And Danny Dimes, people must remember, this is a guy that is coming back from injury, and he did not play bad last week. He was able to move the ball. He was able to run. They have found a wide receiver in Neighbors. I see no reason why the teams can't get points here. This is a low total. I'm not going to bet the side on this game, but I like over.
Over is going to be interesting. I would have to agree with Marco that I lean towards the Giants plus the points, even though I did not get involved there. I also lean with Prez in saying this looks like it could easily be a dead on over game. looking for some more questions. TikTok wants to know, Chris T wants to talk about the Bills game. Buffalo Bills kicking off here in about 25 minutes right now on the WagerTalk odds screen. Pretty much one or even on the money line. Houston Texans minus 120, minus one, total 48, Prez.
I'm going to the over here again, Kelly, and it's not like I'm Mr. Over. I actually bet more unders than normal, than overs on a regular basis. But man, I look at this game and I think, okay, we got a Buffalo team offensively that's mad. They just had their worst offensive performance in years, and I mean legitimately years. Go back and take a look. I think this Buffalo team from an offensive performance is lights out. Yeah, they struggled against Baltimore. I had the over in the Baltimore game as a big play last week, and I feel I got screwed in that game, frankly. It was a bad beat, and it should have gone over. I look here and I think, okay, Buffalo's going to get themselves some points. What is Houston going to do? Well, if you look deep into the numbers with Houston, this is a team that's really messed themselves up on first down. This is a team that's fourth in the league in passing, and they are going to air the ball up all game long. What they have done wrong so far this season, and why they're only averaging around 20 points a game, is that they keep taking penalties on first down. This has put them back in 1st and 15, 1st and 20. It's caused them to go one-dimensional, and it's very hard in a league of this type of ilk, like professional football, where the best of the best play. It's really hard to roll out a one-dimensional offense. So I think Houston is going to make adjustments. I love their coach. I love their quarterback. I look at this game and I think to myself, any one of these teams can win this game. You got Buffalo off of a loss. I don't want to be playing against them. And you got Houston, a team that I feel is slightly wounded. I just don't think we've seen them at their best this year. I think this is a super low number. I actually had this handicapped at 51. So I think you're getting a lot of value. Take the over in this football game.
Lots of fireworks in Houston. Prez says, if you guys have not checked out WagerTalk today, you can see Teddy and the Prez every single day at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. All right, Prez, anything you'd like to leave our audience with?
Well, firstly, I do like to apologize. I was a couple of minutes late, and that's not very me-like. I don't know what exactly happened. I did ride 10 miles this morning, which was awesome, but that did not make me late. Kelly, we have NHL starting this week, and I want to mention that we have an incredible group of NHL experts. I would say on a whole, if you go back and you look through all the records of the website, we probably have more NHL winners than any other sport that we do, from Andy Lang to Brian Leonard, Carmine Andrew, myself, Marco Ralph, Ben Burns, ridiculously good. So don't sleep on NHL and start early with NHL. There's no reason to wait. As for the NFL, I think I'm going to heat up. I've gone back through my records. For some reason, I always kind of, mess up the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, and I never learn my lesson, and it mucks up my September. I have had a winning week the last 2 NFL weeks, but my Octobers have always been outstanding. So I'm really pumped about NFL today and for the month of October. And guys, Tuesdays, we have Trash Talk Tuesdays over at WagerTalk. Kelly, I don't know if you've ever watched our Tuesday show, but Steve Merrill hosts with me now. And basically, we just trash talk all the guests from start to finish. And it is a bloody blast. And of course, they trash talk me. What a privilege to do this show. Thanks, Kel. I'm so appreciative.
You're very welcome, Prez.
I won't be here next Wednesday. My dad and mom's 80th birthday. They're taking the entire family to Albany, Bahamas. So if someone will be in Albany, Bahamas next weekend, I will be there.
All right.
Couldn't get out of it. Could not get out of it.
Well, happy birthday to mom and dad. That is absolutely wonderful. You mentioned Steve Merrill. I think he will be on next Sunday with me. If not, we're going to get Brian Power. I'm going to write both of them and lock them in for NFL Sunday. Thank you to the Prez. Again, you guys can catch him out every single day on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on WagerTalk today. Thank you to all of you for hanging out with us on this beautiful Sunday, and we will see you next week.